Today's very unique episode of This Past Weekend is brought to you by Gray Block Pizza. Gray Block Pizza, get that hitter. And you know we like to support our listeners and their small businesses. And today's small business goes to StoveShelf. Now this is really interesting. Some people, you have a stove and the top of your stove, there's not any room on it. You trying to lean, you put a little thing of lemon pepper and you lean it off the stove onto the back of the wall, or a little thing of dill flavoring. Well, now this is StoveShelf. StoveShelf is a magnetic shelf that attaches to the top of your stove, so now that awkward space is suddenly a shelf. It comes in 3 finishes: stainless, black, or metal. It's compatible with most flat and curved kitchen stoves. It's available in 24 and 20-inch models for apartment stoves. You can purchase through Amazon, eBay, or StoveShelf.com. And you can get 15% off with promo code Theo, T-H-E-O, at StoveShelf.com. That's promo code Theo at StoveShelf.com. Why have that awkward space? You can't put nothing right there. You're trying to lean a picture of a little dog or something right there, or some extra spice, or a black pepper, bouillon-based seasoning. Do something different. StoveShelf. Solve your problem. I want to let you guys know in a few weeks, Howie Mandel is going to be in here, and he's going to be just being himself and being regular. But before that, you can see him January 18th in his very first Showtime comedy special in more than 20 years. So you guys make sure to check that out. Today, here in studio, we got a special man, and this is a man that I've seen walking down the street, that I've seen on television as a child, and now in person as an adult. This is a human male, and he's from, he's from somewhere. And we're about to meet him and speak with him. And I want to introduce you to my friend, Mr. Kevin Nealon.
Where do you live? You live in Hollywood, don't you?
I live in Westwood.
Oh, okay. So not too bad a drive.
Yes, but I go sometimes to, I go to AA meetings sometimes on the over in, and I'll see you in Palisades, walking down the street sometimes in the morning. You might not remember.
Do you go to the Palisades?
Yeah.
AA? Oh, I know where you go. The women's club thing there. The white. Yeah.
I mean, it's for men too.
I know.
Yeah, I just want the listeners to know that it's not like I'm not considering a sex change.
I know somebody else that goes there too.
Yeah, half of the Palisades goes there,
and she talks about it all the time. Too.
She does. Right
yeah.
No, my listeners know about that. So, but yeah, dude, if I have a cleaning lady coming over, even a friend, anyone, I will station things in my place because I don't want them to like kind of see it a certain way, you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, I have I had a podcast. I had an iPod song list that was just to show like younger people that I was trying to impress.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Stuff I didn't know. It wasn't like the rock and roll from the 70s and stuff and Journey.
Yeah.
It was more like, One Direction and stuff my son would listen to. So, I listen to that. Because, you could judge somebody a lot by their song list on Spotify or whatever.
Oh, especially if you're like talking to somebody of a younger generation.
Yeah.
That's the worst. It's like the other day I was talking to this younger girl and I was like, how's school going? And it was like the oldest sounding thing that somebody, it just sounded like an old man question.
I know it. And, it used to be the bookshelves at home. You would just put books in there to try to impress people.
Oh, yeah.
Or coffee table books.
Yeah.
Like you put out a book on engineering or something.
Red Dawn, maybe, if you're having like a hot chick come over.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, engineering. I could see that. And you hide all the Legos. You hide all like the shit that makes you look like who you are.
The scope, the gun scope, all that.
Yeah, you at least move it a few feet away from the window.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I'll start thinking like, okay, I don't want people to correlate, because people see two things in one space, and then then an idea comes. Oh, okay, there's a knife by the piano. This guy is, maybe he's writing a sequel.
He's the piano serial killer.
Yeah. This guy, he's just putting a D flat in everybody.
D sharp.
Yeah, D sharp. Good call.
Yeah. But yeah, I like to have a tidy house when people come over. Some people don't really seem to care.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff is everywhere, and there's dog pee on the couch, and you just think, man, am I just like overly tidy, or is this guy like overly sloppy?
Yeah. Well, some people's houses have a very distinct scent. Did you ever do that?
Yes.
You ever go to somebody's house and you're like, whoa, they don't realize how bad their house smells.
I know it. At least light a few candles, man.
Yeah.
But they don't know it.
They don't know it.
It's like body odor. They don't know it.
Some people don't know.
My son is 11, and my wife is saying, "Did you put on your deodorant this morning?" I think, what is she talking about? He's 11. He doesn't have body odor. I don't smell anything.
Dude, I'm 38. I'll smell an 11-year-old, just to kind of get a buzz off their skin. I feel like they have so many just natural.
Okay, now that's weird.
Okay.
That's weird.
You're right, actually. And I just mean like in a sense, like, you smell a baby and they just smell like
the baby breath is amazing. When my son was, 8 hours old, up to a year, you just put your nose in his face there, and you smell him breathing, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. You don't smell anything.
It's God's crystal meth, bro, coming right into your system. I feel like.
What about cologne? Do you wear cologne?
This is a good topic actually, because I feel like cologne is kind of becoming extinct a little bit.
Well, I have quite a collection in my drawer, I realized, from over the years.
Do you?
It's just like, I don't wear a lot of cologne.
Yeah.
But somehow, it's like guitars. I've kind of, they've accumulated in certain areas of my house. I don't collect it, but...
I can see you just have a whole stack of guitars when you walk in the living room.
Really nice smelling guitars.
Yeah. So I'll put the mandolin over there if you don't mind.
But I'll open up the drawer. Like, I remember I went out one night and I opened the drawer. I said, maybe I'll try a little of this on it. And I open it up, put it on, and I go out, and I'm with a bunch of people. So suddenly somebody goes, "Oh my God, who's wearing CK21?" I said, maybe it's me, but I just took something out of the drawer.
That's crazy, because that's like a children's cologne. Now that's almost as bad as, now we're even, because I was smelling the 11-year-old and now you're wearing kids' cologne.
But okay.
We had a guy in high school, and he would take the cologne bottles and empty them, and he'd fill them with liquor. So nice. Then, and it was great because you had liquor, but it was like just like Estee Lauder gin, it was very, you couldn't help but get a little bit of the perfume or the cologne.
But don't some people drink cologne too that have a real problem?
Yeah. Yeah, people drink anything out of a kind of a bathroom, really. You kind of go up the drawers. It's like you start with like the rubbing alcohol, and you'll move your way up.
The only good thing
sipping
about
on Ralph Lauren,
The only positive thing about having a hangover and cologne is at least your puke will smell good.
Yeah. Wow, damn. That guy's a drunk, but
you know what, Theo, sometimes I'll walk by somebody and I'll smell the cologne or the perfume, and it'll hit me. I'll think, oh my God, that smells great. I don't want to ask the guy what he's wearing, because or the woman sometimes, but I should just say, hey man, what are you wearing, man? That smells really good. I'd like to have that as my signature smell.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a good way to just go up to somebody and say, hey man, I would like to have that as my signature smell.
The other great thing is like when you perform somewhere, and you know how people say, this guy needs no introduction, then you come out, or some comics don't even have an introduction. Like, Richard Pryor would just walk out on stage.
Really?
People know he's there. Yeah, that's there. Who else is it going to be? I would like to have like a signature cologne that right before I come out, they spray it in the area, in the room, and people go, that's Nealon, he's about to come out.
I like that, yeah, it's just like they get the idea.
Yeah.
It's just popcorn and guitars or something.
You just associate that smell with Kevin Nealon.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in one of those 3D movie theaters where they put the smell and stuff in the air and they shake the seats?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You can do it like that.
Or it's not 3D. I think it's called like 4D or something like that.
Oh, wow.
There's in the zoo in San Francisco, they have a thing where you can watch the sharks on screen, and and they have water spraying out of the seats and everything.
Really?
Yeah. They even have a little jaw that'll bite a little piece out of your leg. It's so cool. It's so realistic. There's blood everywhere.
EMTs show up.
EMTs show up. They haul you down to the hospital.
And it's an extra service fee, isn't it, for the EMTs?
Well, insurance usually covers it, but there are those instances where they don't. But yeah, I'm all about that. I haven't done the visual reality thing yet. Have you?
Yeah.
I
have actually. Yeah, I went over to. They have actually over at Fox Studios has a lab. It's supposed to be like one of the best in the country, and it is. Man, it was mesmerizing. I put on this. You put on the thing, and then you put on the gloves too.
Yeah.
And they turn it on, and they they tell you that, God doesn't exist. And then next thing you know, they cut the screen on and I was in a forest. I was in a forest, man. I was in a really nice forest.
Did it smell like a forest?
No. So they didn't have any of that. They didn't have any of your cologne in the air. Actually, at one point I was like, is Kevin Nealon in here? So maybe they did.
Is Kevin Nealon about to come out?
Yeah. But you would hear something in the distance and you would see the leaves move. And then and then a gnome would like run up a little ladder.
Oh, that's cool.
And he was in a tree. And then he's running from a bridge to a bridge. And you can walk over to the tree and you can like shake the little bridge that he's on, and he gets nervous. And then you could open the doors. Some of the trees, they could run from one to the other. It sounds crazy. See, this sounds like something that someone would have said in a psych ward years ago. You know?
Yeah.
You could open the little doors on the tree, move closer to the tree, and look down in there, and they'd have two little gnomes in there, like drinking beers or trying on clothes. You could say something to them and get their attention. Like, when I shut it off, I felt so disappointed with our natural existence.
See, that's what I worry about. I get too addicted to the VR thing, that world. But what about gnomes, man? They're like high strung, aren't they? In general? Because they're always getting kidnapped out of people's yards.
And they have to work in gardens. They're basically slaves,
And they wear those hats, the pointy hats. They're always getting knocked off.
Yeah.
Do you think they're confused with like the Seven Dwarves and things like that?
Oh, I'm sure a lot of them are disgruntled because they didn't get the job.
But they're not really little people. They're gnomes. They're
smaller. They got magic in them.
Yeah.
Little people are just freelance middle, Little people are really middle ground.
Let's say you're going to have a party.
Okay.
You're putting together your guest list.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say you're going to have 50 people there. Percentage-wise, how many little people friends do you have that you'd invite?
I have two little people friends. I probably would not invite them.
We would not invite them.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they wouldn't fit in?
No.
They'll fit anywhere.
They'll fit anywhere.
Yeah, they'll fit anywhere. I guess I don't know. I just don't hang out with them that much.
Okay. So they're not really friends.
They're not really friends. Yeah.
All right. How many African-American friends, percentage-wise?
In my life?
No, for the party.
Oh, for the party? I'd go 2, maybe.
2 out of 50.
Yeah.
Okay. How many
I would
Asian friends?
Oh, I'm going probably 8 or 9
Oh,
Asian.
8 or 9 out of so almost 1/5.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I will double up on the Asians, bro.
You'll make up for the
Oh, and I want some Laotians in there too.
How many
deep Asian.
here's the question for you. How many little people Laotians?
Well, now that we have unique categories, I'll go 4.
4, okay. That sounds like quite a party, man. Quite a party.
Yeah, I think sometimes.
Anybody with the morphine syndrome?
On morphine?
No, morphine. That's like the giant syndrome. Like Anthony Robbins, I think, has morphine syndrome.
Oh, does he really? Where your hands get real
Big
long
hands,
and stuff?
big jaw, head. Yeah.
Oh, you can pick your nose from like a distance. Yeah. From like hitting a 3-pointer.
Yes. Well, it sounds like quite a party, man.
Well, some people have elongated skeletons and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's morphine syndrome.
I don't know if that would be morphine syndrome, but probably we'll have Nick look that up as we're talking. But there's less and less people that are have syndromes now.
Yeah, but I feel like everybody's coming out with autism. If you've seen the new Bachelor, everybody on there is like, well, they're sitting there
on a spectrum.
Well, they're saying, hey, I have a brother with autism, and it was like all of them, like they're trying to relate to the man.
Sympathy, yeah,
they're looking for that sympathy, and it's like jeepers, like. I haven't seen. I'd love to. They should have a show with the brothers on it, and they have to prove they have autism because I think everybody's just claiming it now.
Yeah. It's a babe magnet.
Yeah, it is a babe magnet.
It used to be puppies. Now it's my brother's got autism.
Oh, that's the new puppy.
Yeah, that's the new babe magnet.
Did you ever? What was kind of your ruse, like your honest ruse to get women involved with you, Kevin? Do you feel like? Did you have one?
I never really had a ruse. I was really very shy around women. I would very rarely ask a woman out growing up, or ask for their number because I don't want to be rejected. But mine was just to try to impress them. Mm-hmm. Like I got into stand-up comedy to try to impress a girl I went to high school with.
Wow.
Who was a cheerleader, and I was just, I was like 5'8", kind of baby fat. No body hair.
That was delectable almost.
A lot of cologne.
Oh, it sounds like I'm gonna have these Laotians grill you up.
But I really had no trick. I had no game in that way. What I like to do sometimes is not just a girl, but just to kind of like, I'll ask somebody their name. I'll write it on a piece of paper, then I'll make a face out of that name, which seems to entertain people.
Like, so you'll take Amanda in the letters and you'll make a face,
I'll write it in cursive, Amanda, on the paper, and then I'll turn the paper different angles to see what looks like I can make a face out of, and then I'll make the face by adding things and coloring it in and stuff.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's a little gimmick.
Yeah, I used to do this thing. I remember I would be like, I got something for you. That's what I would say. I'd say, I got something for you to a girl, and close your eyes. That's what I would say. And then when they close their eyes, I would kiss them. That was my goal.
Oh, man.
So I don't know if that's a Me Too thing or not. I mean,
would you also tie them up? No. That's really clever. It's really clever.
It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it worked sometimes. And then sometimes if, I remember one time I was surprised, it was too much of a surprise.
A friend of mine said that if he brought a girl back to his room, hotel room, he would say, "Would you excuse me when I check my messages?" And he'd sit on the side of the bed, and he'd check his messages. And as he was checking them, he'd signal the girl to come over and sit next to him. And as he was listening to his message, he'd maybe reach over and give her a kiss on the neck. Just kind of like, oh, and by the way, I'm listening to my messages, so that's just a little
like
something
that.
for now.
Yeah, it's like, there's something going on that's important, but also you are also even more important.
Very important too. Yeah.
I know that you're buddies with David Spade, right?
Yeah.
I went over to his house the other night to watch The Bachelor.
Oh yeah, he has that little video thing he does, right?
Yeah. So I go over there.
I've never been to his house, by the way. That's what kind of friends we are.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, he talks about you guys like you are very close.
Well, we're close in the way that we both run SNL, and he rented my room from him. He rented my room from me when I went to do SNL, and he wasn't on it yet. I had a house in Hollywood Hills, so he sublet it from me.
Wow.
And then he got on the show.
Did he throw any parties? Like, did you do something out of, like, was there a moment where you were like, David?
No, I didn't care. That was behind me.
No, yeah.
I don't think I ever went back to that place.
You were like, burn it down, David.
Yeah.
Well, he's still living there. And so I went over there to watch The Bachelor. He has me sit on the couch. He sits in a chair behind the couch.
Mm-hmm. Was it just you or with other people?
Just me and him.
Wow.
And it was dimly lit.
Did he say I have a surprise for you?
I don't know. I did smell Kevin Nealon in the air for a second.
I've never watched The Bachelor, by the way.
Oh, you love it, I think.
Do you watch The Bachelorette as well?
I don't. Nick does a podcast on it. What's your podcast called, Nick?
It's called Another Bachelor Podcast. There's actually a lot of competition out there, so it's kind of meta.
It spawned a lot of work, that show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those people getting on there and having a chance at love,
Yeah, man. But none of that really lasts. Those reality shows aren't really reality.
No.
I mean, you take Survivor, for example. I've heard people talk about this. Like if they're crossing a log over a river and they fall in, they make them do it again and again, and they love conflict. Get in an argument with somebody.
Oh, scabies! If you don't have scabies or something by the second or third day, I heard they ask you to go home.
Oh yeah. But people like it's like the National Geographic. It's like National Enquirer.
Yeah.
People just want to go into that fantasy world and want to maybe believe this is real.
Yeah. Do you think that we could ever have real reality TV? Because now there's so many laws against which you can't even like play tricks on people in a lot of places. You almost have to go to England or Africa really to do it.
Well, I love prank calls, and there's certain states you could do prank calls in where they don't have to know that you're being recorded. I think Vegas is one, and New York's another one.
Vegas has to be one.
When we did crank calls with Jimmy Kimmel,
Crank Yankers, was that show?
Yeah, Crank
you
Yankers.
were on that.
Yeah, we would go to Vegas for the day and do crank calls from a little room there. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys will just drive over and do it?
Well, we fly.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess, at that point in your career.
Where are you from?
I'm from Louisiana. So
Louisiana. Which city?
I'm from Covington, Louisiana. It's like a small town.
With a K?
No, with a C.
Oh, I was thinking of the one with a K.
No, I know that's everybody in the South thinks everything in the South that starts with a K starts with a K.
KKK is K's, right?
Yeah. Ku Klux Clams, dude. They used to have a seafood restaurant not far from us called Ku Klux Clams. And it was,
really?
Yeah. It was like for about 8 months it was open. I thought it was open for everybody, but and this is before now people would take a picture and be like, what's going on? You know, what's going on? Seafood, motherfucker. That's what's really happening here.
Clams, baby.
Yeah,
Clams.
that's it. It's like if you can't make a joke about something,
Yeah. You got a lot of products around here. You sponsored by these people?
No.
So
a friend of mine started some beverage company and some of this. I grew up next to a Jingle Bell outlet.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know they had those.
Oh, dude, you could get so many bells, man. Our whole town was just ringing, bro. Around the holidays, it was just people would start throwing bells at each other. I mean, it was awesome.
I know some people that lived in Switzerland for a while in a chalet. They rented it for like a year. And when they first got there, there was no cows in the pasture because it was in the winter. And then spring came. All of a sudden, there's all cows. The farmers bring their cows up there, and they have the big bells around their necks. Oh. And constantly, all day long, ding, dong, dong, ding, ding. And they thought, oh, my God, we can't take this. But eventually, they got used to it.
Oh, wow.
And then when the cows left in the winter, it just seemed so quiet up there, almost lonely.
Oh, wow. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It'd be neat if you could put different octaves on each neck, Well,
it sounds like they do have some different, say they played songs.
Yeah, just get a little something out of them.
Yeah.
Like you two walk that way. And
Yeah. But, I was thinking about products and stuff, and your buddy's got this drink company here. You think everything's been done.
Yeah.
Whether it's in films or in, products or whatever, or podcast. And then you hear people or you see a movie and you think, wow, that one hasn't been done. I think that's what we're all trying to come up with, something that's really unique that hasn't been done, or people can't say, oh, that reminds me of this or that,
Yeah. Do you have something that's new, and what's new in your world, in the work world?
Well, I got a few things going on. I do this hiking show. I don't know if you know about that.
Oh, yeah. Spade did it, didn't he?
Yeah, Spade did it. But Spade was very, particular about it. It took me about a year to get him to come.
Yeah.
Because he's got to have the right amount of food in his body, and there can't be not one iota of any kind of incline on the trail. It's got to be perfectly flat.
He's a very plateau guy.
We had to flatline him.
Wow.
That's what I call it. He was a flatline hiker. And we walked down a little, decline to get to the trail. He goes, I guess we got to walk back up this coming back, right? And he had to be out by a certain time because of traffic,
Oh, yeah.
And
he was calculated.
He is, but he was great, man. He was one of my favorite hikes. And but I got that hiking show on YouTube. It's called Hiking with Kevin.
Oh, nice.
So I like that. We're taking that around to try to sell it to, different platforms. And then also, I've always wanted to direct a short film and a regular size film. And I wrote a feature-length film, but it's hard to get financing for it.
Is it? But now, how much financing does a film like that need?
Well, I wrote everything very low budget, so it came out to $50 million.
Wow. Okay, wow, that's very...
No, it's like 3.8.
It sounds like the Donald Trump funding plan. Yeah.
It came out to 3.8, and
wow,
that was
really?
Some line producer came up. The line producer is the guy who reads the script and thinks, okay, we got to do this. That'll cost that. You could save money if you get rid of that. So I'm trying to raise that for it. And if anybody wants to finance it, call Brillstein Entertainment Partners. Ask for Mark Gerbitz. But so what I did was I took a short scene from it that I really liked, and I'm going to do a short film on that just to direct it. And I might even do it with my cell phone camera, because those things are so amazing now. All you need is a good lighting guy and a good, director of photography and a good audio guy. And you don't need the big expensive cameras. And
it's crazy because that's what an upcharge on those cameras. This phone's $800, and you can get a text in the middle of a film.
Yeah.
How nice is that?
That's amazing.
Those big cameras, you can't even text on them.
What do you mean you get a text in the middle of the film?
Like if you're shooting it on an iPhone.
Yeah.
You can get a text in the middle of the film. You can order food.
Oh, yeah, as you're filming?
If you want
to. As you're watching a film?
Or both, really.
Right.
I mean, as you're filming, what if in the middle of a scene it's going so great you want to hit up Postmates? You know what I'm saying? You just got to close that camera down and open up a new app.
Yeah, you're a big multitasker, aren't you?
I mean, sometimes. Not right now.
What do you really poor at doing? Do you leave? Are you OCD? Do you ever leave the burners on the stove and forget to turn them off? No.
You know what makes me uncomfortable sometimes? I used to have this thing where I had to feel like all the carpet was level in my living room before I go to sleep.
Why wouldn't it be level? Like footprints?
I just didn't trust the dealers, I guess, or the maker. Like I had to like kind of make sure it was all.
Is this a shag carpet?
Like I didn't know, it was just kind of regular. But I just had to like look and make sure there were no, those weird shadows that are on carpet when it's going different
if somebody
directions.
vacuums it and it's a different direction.
I liked it evened out. So the film though, so $3.8 million. That's what a line producer came up with.
Yeah. But I enjoyed writing it, and I started out writing it as a pilot, and we had sold it to Warner Brothers, and then we couldn't get it on the network, so they gave it back to me. And then I thought, well, I put so much work into this. I look back at my computer and the history, and there's like 200 rewrites on it.
Wow.
I'm not going to like just let go of that and say, oh well, move on.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd turn it into a movie, a short film. So I added an ending to it, made it longer, more characters, and it really came out really well, and I really love it. And
who do you ask for funding? Like, do you go to a studio? Do you feel like do you?
I don't know. There's like Asian businessmen. I heard.
I'm thinking the Chinese, brother.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
I know a couple of billionaires, but they're more friends of mine, and I don't want to ask them for money.
You don't want to impede. But so this is interesting because I struggle with this sometimes. Like, I have a pilot that I'm doing at Comedy Central, and so I was going to ask. I was asking David Spade to do a segment on it, right? But then it was like I asked him, and then I was like, well, I don't want to it's like I don't want to bug somebody that, like, I don't like asking people for stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a neat opportunity,
I'll hint around sometimes. I'll be indirect.
Yeah.
And then if they don't respond to that, then I get passive aggressive. Everything's very indirect for me. Asking for things, like in my family growing up, nobody would ask directly what they wanted. If we're sitting down having dinner, they would say, "Is that the salt over there, Kev? Is that the salt?" That meant pass the salt.
Right.
Yeah. Are you going to finish that?
Right.
That kind of stuff. But
that passive. Yeah, it's just hard. I don't know. It's hard in Hollywood because you don't want to. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't like. But I don't like asking people for stuff.
Yeah, sometimes on this hiking show I do, I'll ask somebody if they want to do it, and they go, "Yeah, man, that'd be great. I'm a little swamped right now, but hit me back in next month." And I do that, and they go, "Sure, yeah," and then they cancel, and then they'll cancel again, and then I know that they just have problems saying no. And I don't bother them anymore.
Why do you think we have problems doing that? Like as people, why do we have a problem saying no? Because we don't want to disappoint other people.
Well, you have trouble withstanding other people's disappointment, and you want to be liked.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I had trouble that way for a long time. I couldn't say no to people, and then when you're married, that inconveniences the person you're married to because you're putting the other strangers before your family, and you're going out of the way for them, and then people at home aren't happy with you.
And people are like, what are you doing? You're driving across town for what?
Yeah.
Like we have a family,
Like, a lot of times, people will send a script or something and, or they'll ask you to do something, and somebody came up with a good answer on how to kind of get around that. Oh, I know what it was. You know what? I would love to read your script, but I wouldn't have enough time to give it the attention that it needs.
Yeah.
So I don't want to waste your time with that, but thank you for asking me.
Oh, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah. Like I couldn't say no to you for this podcast, even though I didn't want to do this at all. I was still regretting it. But that sounded like Spade right there.
Yeah.
Kind of the
when
inside.
have you seen when he does that little face thing? He's like, he's so subtle, huh? What is his humor, David Spade's humor? What is it like?
It's all kind of conversational.
Yes.
Kind of, I'm worth nothing. Why would anybody want me?
That is what it is.
He'll say, "I'm embarrassed for you to see my act." It's all old hacky stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll get up there and it's all great new stuff I've never heard before.
Yeah.
But it's funny, I'm learning also from asking people to do my hiking show, like the publicist, I'll call the publicist. And some people are really nice. They'll say they would love to do it, but he's busy now and, maybe check back. Somebody else will say, "Thank you for your offer, but at this time we will kindly pass."
Yeah.
Kindly pass.
Yeah. Is one better than the other? It's better to go to direct to people. Like we had Howie Mandel in the other day. If we went to his publicist, maybe we don't get Howie,
Yeah.
But if we just, because we did that, Deal With It show. Remember when Howie did that show? You came and did an episode.
Yeah.
And I was a host on there.
Were you really?
Yeah. I looked different though.
We're at Canner's.
Yeah, we're at Canner's.
You're
dude.
short hair.
Yeah, short hair. You know that place only got a B rating. That place is a dump.
Canner's? B?
Yeah.
Well, one up from a C.
Yeah. Oh
No.
wow, good.
No.
Dude, were you there when the guy who works in the back showed you all the titties he had in that book?
No.
Yeah, one of the owner's son or
Is that
something.
part of the menu?
I think, bro, it is. I think he has autism.
Wow, look at you, man. You're a good-looking guy there.
I was
Clean
okay.
shaven?
Pull up that one with me and Howie, if you can.
What happened?
There we were. I don't know what happened. That's a good question.
Yeah, there's that. Look at you. We get the hair slicked back.
Howie did it. Howie
You work
cut it.
out?
I used to work out.
But you still do something because you're really lean and cut.
I mean, I don't eat a lot.
You don't?
I don't eat breakfast.
You don't?
Breakfast is for, who? You just been sleeping. You don't deserve it. That's
Well, you
how I
have
feel.
breakfast. You just have it later.
Yeah, I'll have breakfast around 2 p.m.
That's when you break the fast.
Yeah.
Well, you don't eat until 2 p.m.?
Yeah.
And then how? But you eat late at night.
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You're just shifting everything a little bit.
That's true. Yeah.
'Cause you go to bed
I would
late.
do a suppository at night, though, to be honest with you. If they had them, a nighttime, yeah. If I can throw a half of a Salisbury
do that.
steak in your ass if I can go to bed.
Oh, shove it up that way.
Yeah, the suppository. Did they have those when you were growing up? They had them when I was young.
Suppositories? Not
Yeah.
steak ones, though.
That's what I'm saying, huh?
But you know, the whole
Where's
thing,
the mergers, guys, huh?
the whole thing about eating is a very social thing. When you go out to dinner with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
you sit around and everybody's eating. But when you think about it, it's really a personal thing to be opening your mouth
Mm-hmm.
and there's all the pink in there in your tongue and you're putting food and you're chewing it. And everybody's seeing it, you know, and it's just like, if people thought about this more, I think going to the bathroom would be more of a social thing.
Yeah.
You know, because I think everybody's sitting around toilets and talking around a table.
Yeah.
That would be more of a social thing. You get immediate gratification. People are
That's true.
happy.
Hey.
And you don't see anything,
Yeah.
you know?
Good job, Chuck.
But
you
the
know?
food, they should have stalls for people to eat food
Small.
in, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to back in here while I finish this burrito.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, dude. Like watching a girl put a couple of those small pickles in her mouth or something. Or, yeah, watching somebody eat a piece of rare meat.
Or somebody eating like a egg salad sandwich and it's falling on their lips and on their lap and stuff.
It's really gross.
Yeah.
Especially if you can't watch them go to the bathroom, which is the other side of eating, really. It's
Yeah.
really just the dark side of eating. It's like, why do you get to watch them eat?
I don't know. I guess it's something you're sharing a joy. You're sharing, kind of a sensory kind of thing with the food, the taste. Everybody likes it. But certainly, they say a lunch meeting is good because afterwards you've had food and you're in a good mood. When people are hungry, they're cranky, they're irritable, they don't want to make a deal. But after you've had a nice meal, hey, a little wine, and yeah, sure, I'll that sounds like a good idea. I'll sign on to that with you.
Yeah.
But what about like getting together and on the toilet?
Yeah.
And after a good bowel movement, I mean, wouldn't you want to make a deal then?
Dude, I'll give anybody 20% after I, really
Sure.
cleanse myself out.
You watch Shark Tank?
No.
My son and wife watch that a lot.
They do?
And I kind of come in and see it a little bit here and there, and it's pretty interesting. Talking about making deals.
Oh, yeah. Those guys are real deal makers. That's what I was wondering what the switch was,
Yeah.
where your connection was there.
Yeah. I don't have any ideas, or otherwise I'd go on Shark Tank.
I bet. Have you ever tried to patent something? Did you ever have something you
No.
wanted to make? Really?
No, but I think maybe I would go on with my script to try to get backing.
That's a great
Sharks,
idea.
I'm willing to give you 20% of the revenue that comes from this script for $3.8 million.
How great would that be? Wouldn't that be good?
I don't think anybody's ever tried to sell a script
No.
to them.
Especially not Kevin Nealon. If you showed up, you could do it.
Yeah, I might have to investigate that.
Yeah.
Their party line is always, you have a product, not a business. So I don't know if a script.
It's a product.
It is a product.
It's a viable, it's a physical thing that I'm holding on to.
Yeah. Oh, and did you ever do any movies with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
No, but we were roommates for about 6 years.
You weren't really?
Yeah, no, in Sweden. Yeah, I lived in Stockholm in my early 20s, and he was a little bit younger than me, and we were both into martial arts.
You were?
Yeah. By the way, back then I went by the name Kevin Van Nealon,
Oh,
and he was Claude Van Damme. So we would we worked out most of the day.
Did
you? We did martial arts. I was black belt. He was a white belt at the time.
Ooh.
But he would borrow my black belt if he had a big event to go to.
Oh, yeah, if he had to dance.
Yeah. And ultimately, we got separate apartments because he would steal my cookies all the time from the cupboard. Yeah.
I could see that. And I bet you couldn't even hear him. I mean, it seemed
we would get into the full brawls in the apartment, martial arts style.
Wow.
And we would go flying out the window.
Just breaking stuff.
We were up 3 stories, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what a sloppy eater he was. Talk about eating, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What would he have?
Pudding, butterscotch pudding.
Oh, my God.
Every day with bananas.
Oh.
And just slurping it up.
Oh. Did he chew with his mouth open?
No, he wouldn't even chew it.
Oh.
He'd use a straw. He would suck the bananas through a straw.
Oh.
He said it was ab work for him.
Yeah, I can see that 100%.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw Evander Holyfield at the Chicago airport.
Another roommate.
Yeah. Really?
Evander Holyfield. Yeah, right out of college.
Wow. Where'd you guys go to college at? Syracuse?
No, we went to Syracuse Community College.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it was an Ivy League community college.
Oh, yeah.
So it was one of the best community colleges ever.
I went to a poison Ivy League school.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Fucking itching to get out of there. That was pretty bad.
Take a break. We'll be right back.
Yeah. That was pretty bad. Did you work with Chris Farley?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. You guys did the Diet Starts Tomorrow sketch.
I don't
Gap
remember.
Girls.
Yeah, I wasn't in the Gap Girls.
Oh, you weren't?
I might have been in a small part, but I've done a lot of sketches with him. I did the Chippendale Dancers with him.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
And I know I've seen these. I'm sorry that I
No, that's okay.
I don't want you to think
I barely remember them. We did Weekend Update stuff together, and we did. I did one of my favorite sketches I wrote was called The Bathroom Attendant. I was a bathroom attendant in a very tiny bathroom, and Harvey Keitel was the host, and he would come in. And I had a little tuxedo on. He thought I was using the bathroom, because it was just one toilet, open toilets, no stall, nothing. And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." I said, "No, I work here. Come on in. Are we number one, or are we dropping anchor?" And I hand him the newspapers and colognes, and
That's awesome.
There it is. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. I should go and watch that.
Oh, you'd love that one, Theo.
I will.
It's one of my. It's almost like. It's almost kind of like one of the silent movie kind of things, like a Buster Keaton kind of a thing. But he couldn't help laughing. He held the newspaper over his head because he was laughing so much. And then Farley would come in at the end, and he was a regular.
Oh, really?
Goes, "How you doing, Bob?" "Yeah, good. How you been, man? We drop an anchor?" "Yes, sir." Take his coat,
What a funny idea. Was that your idea?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, because I'm always kind of, when I go into a bathroom and there's a bathroom attendant in there, it's always kind of awkward.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need candy.
Yeah.
Here's $1. Just wait outside.
Yeah. Well, I have an experience. I was in Seattle. I was working at a Parlor Live, a comedy club up there.
I've been there several times.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I like that club.
Yeah, it's nice to put you in a nice
I know
hotel.
the bathroom attendant you're talking about.
Do you?
Yes, he got me a nice big chocolate bar because he knew I liked chocolate. And I came up there and he gave me a big Hershey's dark chocolate bar.
Well, that's an odd thing to give somebody in a toilet.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, man. Here's what happened to me. This might happen to the same guy because I go in there one time, and there's also a nightclub at the other side of the place. There's a nightclub.
Yeah.
So I go in there, and I just kind of skirt past the attendant. This was a big kind of, I don't know if he was black, but had very darker skin.
That's a gnome.
Yeah, it could have been a gnome.
Yeah.
It could have been a gnome, dude. So yeah, this big, tall, kind of chubby gnome with like dreadlocks, right? So I go into the toilet. He comes over and knocks on the door. He's like, "Oh, I got you, fam." That's what he said, right? And I'm like, "What? Like, what's going on? Like, don't worry about it, man. I got you." Like now he's like watching out or something.
That security guy, yeah, for you. Yeah.
So then some drunk guy comes in and like keeps banging on the stall, right? The guy starts. He's like, "Hey, man, that's my dude in there," And I'm just sitting there like, I don't know. I have not made eye contact with either one of these people. So they get into a full-on fucking wrestling match over me sitting in the shitter.
The guy was probably drunk. He just wanted to use the stall.
That's it.
Yeah.
But this bouncer guy's getting all, sets down his butterscotch and gets all, Mr. Angry Paws. And so next thing you know, a police or a security guard or something came in, and it was a big to-do. And I had not met anyone until I came out for the big reveal.
No, it's really weird. When you have clubs like that, you have to walk through the general public, to get to the bathroom.
Yeah.
and then you're in there with other people. You're at the urinal. Some guy's next to you saying, "Hey man, love your stuff."
Yeah.
By stuff, you mean my...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you don't mean these 2 ounces of frickin' low flow I'm dropping in this. That's true.
And then there's those clubs where you're walking from the green room to the stage, and they like to have 2 big beefy guys walking by you, like you need the protection.
Yeah.
You know, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but it's almost like there's no real middle ground, kind of.
Yeah. And what about the announcers now? The people in the sound booth, they think it's like a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Coming to the stage now, give it up for Theo Von!
Weighing in at 195 pounds, Kevin Nealon.
Or they'll say, what kind of music do you want to be played out of? You know, and I like it when they ask, because sometimes when they choose their own, it's like really high, heavy metal, loud, and then you come out there and you're really low key, like, hey man, how's it going? Yeah. It just doesn't match the intro music, you know?
Excuse me, I don't mean to do this, but I ain't trying to be rude. Shut up, the girls seen you. No, I'm sorry, I've been watching that Surviving R. Kelly. But speaking of sex, if you like sex, you're going to love BlueChew.com. Blue Chew, it's a performance enhancer for the bedroom. Wouldn't you like to last longer and go extra rounds? Well, I don't want to go extra rounds, but I wouldn't mind lasting a little longer. BlueChew.com makes the first chewable with same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis at a lower price than those two. Now, a lot of y'all know I bought some of them, kind of sexual dick hitters off the internet, and they make my legs sweat, some of the ones I get from India. Well, Blue Chew, it's like just popping a piece of gum. You know what I'm saying, boy? Chewables, they work faster than pills, up to twice as fast. It only takes a few minutes. You fill out the form online, and Blue Chew is on its way to you. No doctor visit, no awkward conversation, no waiting in line at a pharmacy. And here's the great deal for our listeners. We want y'all to be erect and feeling positive. Go to BlueChew.com and get your first order free when you use promo code Theo, THEO. So get out there and get them erections and get that taste in your mouth of future sexual joy. Just pay $5 shipping. Go to BlueChew.com, BlueChew.com, and use promo code Theo. Get that erection. This past weekend is also brought to you by SkillShare. Man, I love this company. SkillShare is an online learning community for creators with more than 25,000 classes in design, business, and more. You'll discover countless ways to fuel your curiosity, creativity, and career. Take classes in social media marketing, mobile photography, creative writing, or even illustration. Whether you're looking to discover a new passion or start a side hustle or gain professional skills, SkillShare is there to help you keep learning and thriving. I want to thank everybody that has used SkillShare. So many of our listeners. I got it for some of my family members for Christmas. You can join the millions of students already learning on SkillShare today. This past weekend, listeners get 2 months of SkillShare for free. That's right. SkillShare is offering this past weekend listeners 2 months. That's 2 months of unlimited access to over 25,000 classes for free. To sign up, go to Skillshare.com/Theo Von, TheoVon. Again, go to Skillshare.com/Theo Von to start your 2 months now. If there's something you need to get into a new career, you don't have to go get these big degrees anymore. You just need to have the skill set. And you can get a skill set at Skillshare.com. And you might just find stuff that inspires you. You know, even if you just want to learn how to do social media better, that sort of thing, you can change it. You can change things fast. What is it about, do you think like ideas for humor are innate, like we come up with them, or do you think they just come from somewhere like beyond us?
You know, I think it's everything, Theo. You know, it comes from everywhere. You know, you're always looking, as a comic, you're always looking what could be funny. It's like now a lot of people are looking Instagram. They have that Instagram mindset.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be good for Instagram. I should do that on Instagram. You know, everything is like a picture. Oh, I got to take a picture of that guy with the shopping cart.
Right.
You know, I could put that. If I did that, that would be good on Instagram. I could do that. I could do a story. And but for you and for me, and I think a lot of comics, it's you have a built-in default system, where you're always kind of open to how something can be funny, and can you use it in your act?
Yeah.
Am I right? I mean, don't you kind of think that way?
I think so. As you're saying it, it makes a little more sense to me. I don't know sometimes. I don't know if like we get ideas of our own or if ideas just like come in from like a different, like a higher power, like a, or something. And we're just like a conduit, we're just like a certain conduit.
I see what you're
Not
saying.
to glorify ourselves or anything, but just, what makes one person want to say funny stuff a lot and what makes another person not want to,
I think a lot of it is how you, your point of view on things and how you perceive things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what helps me? Like, I meditate whenever I can.
Yeah.
And when I'm like in a kind of a deep meditation thing, I'm kind of going over my material sometimes, and stuff will come in out of nowhere, man, because your mind is just all freed up.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a kind of a fun thing to do. But anyway, that's another thing. This year I've kind of focusing more on writing more, because when I do stand up, usually I just go down to the club and I hope to come up with something on stage. Add something or I might have something that maybe I've thought of like just randomly that day.
Yeah.
But now I want to sit down and write for like at least 20 minutes a day. Just sit down and take like a topic on, whatever it is. Candles or anything. Badminton?
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Badminton.
I'm saying that
yeah, the sport.
It's a
I like how
game.
Some people don't pronounce words the way they should.
Yeah.
Like you call it badminton.
Yeah.
It's badminton. Badminton.
Yeah.
And you call it badminton.
Well, I'm not saying well, whatever it is, dude, it's such a shitty game. If you fucking seen it.
Yeah, I know.
Here's what happens. 4 rich people, servants set it up outdoors in the hot sun. A rich kid comes over and says, this game fucking sucks. And that is badminton.
It's badminton. Well, it could be a kid's game, too. I think of it as a kid's game with a really cheap net that's kind of sagging in the middle.
Yeah.
But they do have like really high-end badminton with the birds, the plastic birds.
Shuttlecock.
What's it called?
Shuttlecock.
Shuttlecock?
Oh, yeah?
That's what the birds are called, yeah. And the mallets, the rackets are really good. You know what people are playing a lot now? I think it's maybe older people, is pickleball. Have you heard of pickleball?
Mm-mm.
It's like spreading like a storm everywhere, like in beach clubs and country clubs, and it's like paddleball, like paddle tennis, but with a wiffle ball. Yeah, see, there it is. He's got it up on the screen. And
wow.
And I guess it's a lot of fun. I mean, you don't have to like run as quick to get to the ball. You see that?
Oh yeah, it looks fun.
Kind of lightweight. Yeah, Claude Van Damme and I used to play pickleball way back when.
We had, I remember we played softball and we had 1 ball and 1 bat and 1 glove. Someone got a glove, right?
Yeah.
During PE at school. And we had this teacher who was like the most lesbianish kind of teacher you could be, but all she talked about was how she couldn't meet any men, and all of us kids were like, you love women, but she wouldn't tell us, but we knew, and it wasn't really, I don't think it was that much fun. PE was just a time where people would try to sneak off and smoke, I felt like.
Yeah. Back in your day.
Yeah.
Were you an athlete in high school?
I wasn't real. I mean, I played hoops and stuff like. Yeah, I guess I was.
Were you on the team?
I was on the team for a freshman year.
Okay.
And then I was like,
then your grades dropped. You had to get off.
Kind of. I started looking for chicks.
Yeah.
What a deterrent women are.
I didn't play much organized sports in high school, but in college I played soccer for 3 years, and then
I
rugby.
can see you playing soccer now.
I played rugby for 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, in Connecticut. I like it because I always wanted to play football. Because we played sandlot football a lot.
Oh
around our neighborhood.
We
had the
fun.
helmets and the pads, and we played this gang from across town. No refs, and it was just really brutal.
Wow.
And I was a quarterback, And a buddy of mine comes up to me and I was just graduating college.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, Kev, if we go to Fairfield University, which is like the next town over, a Jesuit college," he goes, "they have a football team, club football. If we take 1 night course, that makes us eligible to play on the team."
Wow.
And I've always wanted to play on a regular team.
Yeah.
So we took a course in criminology, and we both played football for Fairfield University.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was the quarterback because their starting quarterback got hurt. So I got to be quarterback. And, this was like my dream. And he got to play all the time too. And he was nominated All-American after that year.
Really?
And I was MVP. And we traveled on the road. We played at the colleges. And
Was it awesome?
it was awesome, man. We were playing night games like in Pennsylvania in this old stone stadium. There's trains going by and you can't hear the signals, and it's raining and we're on the bus and nobody came to our games, because
Yeah.
it wasn't like a big team. They didn't win they hadn't won a game in a long time. We started winning, and I loved it, man. I loved it so much, and I was the kicker too. And the next year we go back to play, and I think some of the players were disgruntled, like who wanted to be quarterback, so they kind of complained that so they changed the rules. You had to take full 12 credits to play.
No.
So I came out to LA to do stand-up, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try out for the LA Express. It was the USFL football team at the time. As a kicker,
Yeah.
because I had really good hang time, as a punter and a kicker.
You put it out there.
Yeah, and I thought, I'll do stand-up, and that'll be my gimmick. He's also the punter for the LA Express,
LA Express.
And luckily, my career took off in comedy before they had the free agent walk-on tryouts.
Because you were going to go.
Team. I was going to go. I was at Fairfax High every day with 6 USFL footballs practicing my kicking.
So you're pretty good?
I was at the time, yeah.
What was like kind of your specialty?
The old nugget louver. My specialty was just, for quarterback, it was the bootleg.
Yeah.
But I had a really good arm. I could throw it I think I was throwing like 70 yards, because I have long arms. And, but I was a good kicker, and, I liked punting, and the corner kick I was really
fun.
good at that. Yeah.
That's interesting. You went soccer, kind of into football. Yeah, I played basketball freshman year. When I realized I wasn't black, I pretty much quit.
When did you realize that?
I think probably then. That's when it really, because I think in your heart you always want to be, I always wanted to be black or Latino, or like at night I wanted to be, I feel like Japanese people always slept better or something. I always wanted to kind of morph into something different when I needed it. And once I got out there and I was like, oh man,
yeah,
I'm not going to really, I was just missing some, I guess maybe just disappointed in myself probably. But
you asked me before what's kind of new, what I'm doing that's new. And it just dawned on me that I'm really getting into salsa dancing now.
yeah?
I love salsa dancing. I would see it when I go to weddings and stuff, or I go to some event. There'd only be like a couple breaking into salsa. And I thought, man, that's really good, man. That's kind of sultry, and it's good. They really know what they're doing. And that's a dance step right there.
It's fun. And do you do it with the wife? You just take the class?
Well, what happened was a couple of weeks ago, we went to Cuba for our first time. And we were in Cuba for 7 days, which is a real experience, man. It was really fun and interesting and an eye-opener. But I took a salsa class there with my wife and my son. He's 11, and the guy we pull up
wheel, huh?
We pull up to this this restaurant, and there's a gate out front, and there's a security guy out there, this African American guy, and turns out he's our instructor. He's also the security guy at the place.
Yeah.
So we go inside, and I'm dancing with my wife, and he's instructing us, and then my son, he's 11, he doesn't have a partner. All of a sudden, this girl, 11-year-old. Cutest Cuban girl comes in. Like it would be like his perfect match.
And was he excited immediately?
Well, he played it down.
Yeah.
But I could tell he was excited.
Yeah.
And she danced with him. It was like a coming of age, like, John Hughes movie. I thought, oh my God, we're in the middle of this thing. I thought I've never believed in arranged marriages before, but I'm thinking maybe this one is the time to do it. You know?
Arrange that.
And so they danced for and she couldn't speak any English. No. And then at the end, she gave us each a big hug and a kiss, and she said, thank you, thank you. So I went back 2 days later, partially so my son could maybe further enjoy, because he seemed to like her, although he wouldn't say, but I could tell that. I mean, why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
And but my wife had enough of the salsa dancing, so I went back, and now all of a sudden I'm dancing with the security guard.
No.
It's me and him dancing.
Oh wow.
Yeah. and then the girl can dance with my son.
It's like that movie Batman, kind of.
They still talking?
No.
Did they exchange Instagrams or anything like that? I mean, that's what these kids do.
No, but I got the card for the restaurant.
You did.
So next time I go back, yeah.
Wow. So was that interesting? Was that the first moment you saw your son have a?
Well, I'm comparing myself to him when I was in the school. Like I remember when I was in 3rd grade, I had a crush on a girl, but nothing came of it.
Right.
A couple of dates,
Yeah.
That's it. But and then I remember in 5th grade, I had a crush on a girl. But by the time I was 10 and 11, I always had somebody in my scopes that I liked.
Yeah.
But so he is keeping his cards real close to his chest. You know. But lately, though, he's been talking more about it and what the other guys are into, and who they like and stuff.
That's kind of cool.
So he's coming around. But I think that girl right there I mean, it was just to watch his eyes. He was a little embarrassed to look at her in the eyes, and his arm was really stiff on her back, instead of loosening up.
Yeah.
But I wonder how she felt about it.
Right. Yeah, I wonder, it must be interesting to have a son because you get to almost relive certain like moments and experiences kind of through them. Is that does that happen sometimes?
It does. It does.
And you get like an immediate resurgence of like, oh, I remember
you relive your whole life, like Halloween, when he's getting ready. Oh man, this is cool. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna do this, you did that. Or Christmas when they're coming down to the presents, you're thinking, I remember when I did that. It was so great. I want this to be just like that for him,
Right.
But it's funny, when you're married, your wife might have a different way of celebrating Christmas than you remember growing up, and that's like weird. Because for her family, it was always like, we put the presents out during the week, the weeks before. We put them out. Some of them aren't even wrapped.
Yeah.
We just put them out,
What is that? That sounds like a Macy's sale.
I know.
It sounds horrible.
Although the ones that aren't wrapped, they don't put out early. But like a bike or whatever it is, or a doll, don't wrap some of them,
Right.
And I'm thinking, that's crazy. That's not how it's done, It's Santa comes at night, and he leaves, and then you wake up and you come down, there's all the presents.
Yeah, that's the rule. Santa's not milling around the neighborhood for a couple months.
He's not dropping by. I can't have room for this. Let me put it in here,
Yeah.
And then decorating the tree is another thing. Like, we like to put tinsel on our tree.
Yeah.
At least she had a live tree. It's a real one, not a fake one. And we like to put a lot of tinsel on it. She goes, no. One tinsel on each branch, and you have to do it individually. It's going to take a month to do that.
Yeah.
So it really created like a lot of like, unharmonious kind of like negotiating about Christmas.
Yeah, because you have to negotiate your traditions and that, or your memories that you want steadfast, and like what am I thinking? You have to negotiate what is it?
I mean, you have to kind of validate your tradition of your life and your family, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
It's like almost like a religion,
Yeah, but it has to be different now because you have to that would be tough for me to have to negotiate like little moments. Like that's where you probably really learn to be like a husband or a significant other.
That's where you have to kind of give in. But also the stocking, the Christmas stocking.
Yeah.
That goes on the bed. So when they wake up before us in the morning, they have that like an appetizer. They could take out the little toys out of the stocking, have the tangerine at the bottom, the orange.
What a lazy kid, man.
and then enjoy that in bed, because if you leave it, by the gifts downstairs, they're not going to go for the stocking until later, and they won't appreciate it as much. They're going to see the big gifts and the the iPad and whatever, and then they're going to see. But that's the way she wanted it. I said, okay, it's wrong, but okay. And of course, he didn't see the stocking until the end, and then he kind of went through it. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. 2 weeks later, he finds it like a bunch of melted shit down by his feet in his bed. He's like, what is this?
What's this?
Who's doing this? Mom needs to do the wash. That's what he's thinking.
It's the same with the Easter bunny. She says it's an Easter dog. I said, no, it's a bunny. It's an Easter bunny.
She said dog?
I'm kidding.
Oh. But yeah, we used to do, I'm trying to think. Dude, we had a guy, I was talking about this yesterday on Joe Rogan's podcast, that would put like around the holidays, he'd always get those little Hershey Kisses,
Yeah.
This dude in our neighborhood, Mr. Patrick, and he would put one on each shoulder of your shoulder, and then you had to try and lick them off and get them off,
What was that holiday?
I don't know if it was holiday. It was just like around when they had Hershey Kisses for sale. So I guess then it was like around the holidays, around Christmas or January.
Back when they were selling those kisses, those Hershey Kisses?
Yeah. And dude, you try to get them off. It was pretty fun. The dude might have been a pervert, I think, but it was a fun. You don't think of how much fun it is to try, because you couldn't knock them off.
Yeah.
But when you think about it in hindsight, this man watching 3 or 4 shirtless kids trying to eat chocolates off their shoulders is pretty obtuse,
Yeah, I know. But that's the thing about traditions too with the holidays. It's like even like Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They didn't have turkey at her house. It was pigeon.
Oh, did
squab.
They? That's very Native American. But I was just talking about this the other day. We just had 2 owls at my sister's house.
You ate them?
Yeah.
They served them up?
I had some, yeah. Well, one died.
No, these are owls in the tree?
Yeah, these are owls in the tree. And there's not much meat on them if you want to bring up a picture, actually. Owls are fucking full of shit.
They're very nosy. Who?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
None of your business. That's who.
¿Qué? Or quién es? That's what the ones out
in. Is that what they sound like in Mexico?
Yeah, Mexico. They're like, ¿quién es? ¿Quién es? ¿Quién es?
What's that one on the left there?
That's an owl. That's after you take its coat off, man.
Really?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Oh, it's like an alien.
Oh man, it's like a Japanese girl in a Patagonia jacket.
It's like squirrels are cute, but they're really rats, aren't they, with furry tails?
I mean, well, look at it. Dude, imagine, and they grilled up 2 of those, man. And
those
they had
are kind of scary.
Oh, man.
But can you imagine having that flexibility in your neck where you can almost turn it all the way around?
Oh, my God. Yeah. Can you I mean, I'm thinking about oral sex, and I'm thinking about eating soup in a lot of fun ways, but a lot of stuff you could do.
So they're all feather, mostly.
Yeah. It's all pomp.
Yeah.
And they're not nice.
They're not?
Whoever did their PR
yeah.
made them all fancy, and they're in the library, and they're working
But they are wise. They wait on that limb for a long time,
That's a good
thinking,
point.
when should I get that mouse?
That's a good point. Yeah, it says sometimes to wait for days. Watching its path, watching it move. Very calculated.
You watch Harry Potter?
Yeah.
So a lot of owls in that.
It's so good, huh?
A group of owls is called a parliament. If anybody-
Really?
Yeah.
What is a group of a geese? Is a gaggle,
Gaggle.
I think.
That's
Yep.
gaggle.
Parliament. That's good to know. A parliament.
What about a group of
What about a group of Latinos that are like robbing stores? Is that like a
Trouble.
gang?
I think that's MS-13.
I'm so worried about being offending somebody or doing
No,
something.
not on
that's-
podcasts. You'll be fine.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
I didn't-
specified that they were robbing
I
someone.
didn't mean Mexicans in general. I meant just like.
No, we have a lot of
gang.
Mexican listeners. I love Mexican
No, me too.
people. And I want to be Mexican next time. A lot of people will know that. And then I'll maybe be black after that.
I love how much people love their country, and I think Mexicans are a lot like that. They love Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Their culture, their heritage. I was in Cuba, like I said, and
I went to Cuba one time, actually.
did you?
Yeah, we went to...
How long ago?
This was in 2002.
That was like
To
before
Havana.
it was available to
Yeah.
Americans.
We went to
Well, how did you go?
I was a student on this thing called Semester at Sea.
Are you Canadian?
Nope.
Oh, that's right. You're from Louisiana.
Louisiana, but it's French down there. It's a possibility. But no, I'm Polish Nicaraguan, actually. But we went down there, and we had some wild times. We went to a baseball game. We had some fun, but I interrupted you.
I was just going to say the Cubans are very proud of their country, but not so much their government.
Oh, the government? Not as much.
No, but they love their country.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that we would sneak. I remember we went to a library, and all the books started at like Che and Fidel. There was no history before that. And we'd walk down the street, and people would summon us over to their windows and tell us they needed help. Tell us, like, I didn't know what they were talking about. A lot of times it was Spanish, and they would just like say, like,
Yeah.
it was like,
Well, I learned a lot about their history when
Secrets.
I was there. I knew a lot about it before I got there, but in the 50s, it was all American. We were building American buildings there. The Capitol building looks just like ours.
Oh,
They
yeah.
built the tunnel under the bay there. It's all a good construction. And the cars, of course, are from the 50s. And then Che Guevara and Fidel around 59, 60, they came in and that was it.
Shut it
It's
down.
over. Yeah.
yeah. So a lot of their history starts in 59 then, or whatever it is, 60.
And
whatever.
Che Guevara, it's like his big tourist image down there, on all the T-shirts, his picture.
Right.
But he was from Argentina.
Oh,
and
yeah.
revolutionary, and he was going to all these countries. He died in Bolivia because he went there and they caught him and killed him. But he wouldn't do anything about his own country, Argentina, which was interesting. But and then I also learned that Che was not his first name. That was more of a friendly, endearing kind of a thing, like, "Hey, pal,
Right.
pal, buddy."
Hey, Che.
His real first name was Ernesto.
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 I like that name.
Yeah.
I think I could be easily, not Spanish, but I could definitely be Mexican, I think. It seemed like so much fun, man. Mexican people, most of the Mexican people, they just have good family. They have good, like...
Very sweet.
Yeah. And they used to fight outside of the car wash when I used to go to school in Tucson for a little bit, University of Arizona.
Oh, nice. Big party school.
Yeah, they would fight over there by the car wash sometimes. But
Do you speak any languages besides English?
I speak a little bit of Spanish. That's it.
When you say a little bit, what do you mean? Like, ¿Dónde es el baño?
Where's the baño? I could say mi padre es de Nicaragua. I could say, yeah.
Do you watch Narcos?
I watched the first season. I heard the third season's good.
I'm watching that now.
Yeah. Dude, what about you were in Weeds? I just remembered.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
How great was that?
That was fun. Yeah. 8 years. 8 years on
Dude,
Weeds.
how talented was the other guy that was in it? Like her nephew, the guy that played the...
Everybody was great on that show.
And the mom.
Yeah, the mom.
Was that like when
Lupita.
Yes. Was that like just amazing to be like on a cast where it was like, can you tell when the acting is really good during a taping and when it's not that good?
I mean, I learned so much in that show watching Mary Louise Parker.
Yeah.
You know, her acting choices were just so out of nowhere and they were so great. And, you know, Justin Kirk played, you know.
The uncle?
The uncle.
He was so good.
Yeah.
Man, they were all so good. She was amazing.
He's always working. He was in that movie Angels in America, I think it's called. Angels and something like that.
I haven't seen that.
But really good actor. And, you know, Hunter Parrish and Andy Milder. And also Elizabeth Perkins, who played my, you know, love interest.
Oh, yeah. And, she was good. She played Celia?
Yeah, Celia.
She was great.
She was good.
I got to go back and watch that show again. I quit watching when they moved to Mexico or something, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was 8 years, and it's like SNL. You know, I saw Chevy Chase once, and a long time ago, he goes, you know, people don't realize this, but on SNL in the original years, we had maybe 1 out of every 3 shows was good. You know, but people don't remember the bad stuff. That's how we survive, I think, in general, as humans, is we don't remember the bad stuff. We otherwise, we wouldn't go on. We wouldn't want to go on in life, you know.
We might give up kind of early. Yeah, it's a good point, huh?
It's like when people want to get back together with their ex, they forget the bad stuff.
That's true.
Or they miss them. You have to say, excuse me, you're remembering the good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's try to remember the bad stuff and why you broke up with them to begin with.
That's so true. That's weird. I guess it must be a survival mechanism.
Do you feel the same way about... as Chevy does, that you only had 1 out of 3 shows were good, or?
Oh, well, there's definitely some shows that are better than others. You know, and some shows are kind of, you know, you wonder why they pick certain sketches and, you know,
because we only see the best ofs.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see every show can't be like perfect and great. You know, some are going to be better than others, better host, better musical act.
Yeah,
that was the cool thing about being on that show with the musical acts too, because I got to see my idols coming through. Mick
Creedence
Jagger.
Clearwater.
I don't think they're on with me, but you know, like James Taylor.
Oh yeah,
Paul Simon, Eric Clapton, even
that's so crazy.
The Pretty Woman guy. Yeah, who's blind.
Roy Orbison.
Roy Orbison was on. Yeah,
really?
Yeah. I mean, I could go on and on. You know, Dolly Parton. So many, and then some of them would stay afterwards and do a concert in that little studio, like Clapton or Paul Simon, James Taylor. I was a big fan of James Taylor's growing up.
Yeah, I could see
and when
that.
he came on the show, I thought, oh my God, it's James Taylor. And Steve Martin, who was also a big fan of his. And I play the guitar. My whole life, I grew up trying to figure out the way James plays his songs. And I lift up the needle on the record, and you know, over and over. And I had gone to a lot of his concerts, and now he's on the show with me, and I get to meet him, and we become friends. And we were talking, and he goes, you know, he said to me at the end of the first show, he goes, you know, I say this a lot, but I would really like to get together with you sometime.
Wow.
You know, and have lunch or something. And I said, sure. So he took my number, and I thought, he's never going to, you know, or I got his number. I said, I don't know if this is going to happen. You know, I called him. I was so nervous, like going on a date.
Yeah.
I called him. He goes, yeah, let's do it. And I go up to I find his apartment in New York. I go up the elevator, and it's one of those elevators that open up right to their apartment, you know?
Yeah.
And I knock on the door, and he answers the door. My heart's pounding. He's got a little dog he's holding that belonged to his wife. And he goes, all right, let's go. And we go, and we have we had Cuban food at some Cuban restaurant. And then we go back, and the whole time I'm worried, how do I say goodbye to him when we get back? Do I hug him? Do we kiss? What's going to happen, you know? But yeah, so I became friends with him, and I'll see these guys, like, I went to the 40th reunion. You know, SNL reunion.
Yeah, that was huge, yeah.
And I'm sitting in the front row, and Paul McCartney's getting ready to go on with Paul Simon, and I'm sitting there with my wife, and they're all lined up right in front of me, and I'm right in the front row. And all of a sudden, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I look up, it's Paul McCartney. He goes, how you doing? How you been? Good? It's good to see you again. You know, and I forgot, oh yeah, that's right, I know him. I forgot I know him. Paul Simon, same, you know.
Is it interesting, as you start to meet more celebrities and stuff, it gets a little bit easier to meet them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you realize they're all people, but they have their insecurities, you know. They're all, you know, whatever they are, they're humans, you know.
Like, I'm just starting to realize that even in my own life, just meeting, like, just like people that used to be my heroes are now not like my peers, but it's like I find myself in a lot of the same circles as them more often.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know, but it's interesting, but it does get easier to meet. Like, I remember I went to Adam Sandler's Christmas party years ago when they had the bowling alley Christmas party.
Pickwick, yeah.
And I had smoked this is when weed pens had just come out. People smoking the pen, and I didn't know. I thought it was a cigarette. So I'm outside.
You thought it was a pen?
I thought it was a pen. Yeah,
you were writing a lot of letters.
I'm out there I'm out there on some, hopped up on some decent ink. So, but yeah. So I'm just out there, and I thought it was a cigarette. So I walk in the party, and then that's when I start meeting everybody from Adam Sandler movies, like almost in a row. My friend was introducing me to them. It was Owen Benjamin, actually. He introduced me to all of these Adam Sandler stars, and the weed started hitting me, and I didn't know I was high. And so I thought I couldn't handle meeting celebrities. Like, I fucking came down with like an illness when I met them, and it got worse and worse, and I had to leave. I had to go sit in the car.
You thought you were having like an anxiety attack?
Oh, when I met Don Cheadle, at that point, I was like, I couldn't. I thought something was wrong with me, and I went home.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, dude, who am I going to ever work with in this town? Because I'll be in a wheelchair.
I know.
I mean, if I meet Michael Landon, I'm going to go into a damn coma. So that was you just, but now it's like a little bit easier. Like, I guess you also see people around, and then you get to just.
There were two people. Typically, I'm really comfortable around anybody, and I don't mind going up and saying hi, because I think maybe they'll recognize me, Although I did see Bill Clinton. I finally met Bill Clinton 2 summers ago in Lake Tahoe at a golf thing. And he came out and did a little speech to the players, and he stuck around afterwards. He was meeting everybody. And I went up to him, and I said, "Hi, Mr. President. I'm Kevin Nealon." And I'm waiting to see his recognition, but it looked like he didn't know who I was. Oh. It's good, because I made a lot of fun of him on SNL. Yeah. But 2 people that I did not approach, I was in a restaurant on the west side, and it was pretty empty, the restaurant. I was in the back room. There's maybe 8 tables back there, and I'm sitting with a buddy, and these 3 people come in, and they sit in the corner table by the window, and I eventually see my friend recognizes them, and I turn, and it's Julia Roberts and Julie Andrews.
Oh, wow.
And they were having a heavy conversation, and then there was the husband or something with them.
Yeah, some guy.
And I thought, oh my God, that's some talent over there, and Julie Andrews from The Sound of Music, and Mary Poppins.
Oh, yeah.
I really would like to say hi to them, but I'm afraid. And I didn't go over, and I left. I was so nervous. But I met Julia Roberts before she was like a star.
Favorite. Oh, really?
She came to SNL one year because she was a huge fan of James Taylor's.
Wow.
So she came to the show before she was an actress,
was she just stunning then?
Yeah, she was just young and kind of loud. I remember her being loud. I see that like Christopher Walken. She was loud.
Yeah.
And I remember she had a loud laugh, because she was behind me in line at the restaurant afterwards for food, and she was cackling, how she does.
Yeah.
And then she became Julia Roberts.
Man.
But I was afraid to go over there and say anything, because they were like, they're strong women, especially her, and she might say, "Excuse me, we're having a conversation." Right. Because I saw Paul McCartney do that once. I went to see Love, the grand opening of Love in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And they had a VIP party afterwards.
And Love is a musical?
It's a Beatles kind of a thing. It's Cirque du Soleil with the Beatles music,
right.
And it's really great.
Yeah, I think I saw it.
And I go to the party, and Paul McCartney's there at the party afterwards, and he's talking to some guy, and oh my God, some guy came up to him, a fan with a couple of albums, and he interrupted Paul to ask him if he would sign the albums. Mm-hmm. And I remember watching it. Paul turned to him, and he was in such disdain. He turned to me and goes, "I'm having a bloody conversation here. No, I'm not going to sign your albums. I'm having a conversation. Yeah. Can't you see I'm having a conversation with somebody? So rude." Yeah. And I felt so embarrassed for the guy too, but he was right. I mean, it was rude. Yeah. But yet, here's your idol. Is he still a fan of Paul McCartney's?
That's true, huh? I bet he probably is. I bet you don't want to meet. Sometimes you don't want to meet your fit.
He's telling everybody, Paul McCartney,
told me to
ball me out.
Off. Yeah. He told me to buck off.
Well, yeah, that's true about you don't want to meet your idols. I remember I went to the AFI was honoring Steve Martin.
And that's American Film Institute.
Yeah. And Sarah Silverman got up and he's talking about Steve and just talking about in general about sometimes you don't want to meet your idol because you'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
And she goes, "The only advice I have for you is don't meet Steve Martin."
Wow.
It was so funny. It was so funny.
That's funny. But
I was not disappointed with James Taylor.
Yeah.
He was a nice guy. And
that's cool, man. Even just to have a moment like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I have a buddy, a friend of mine is named James Blake. He's like a musician. And my friends at home are like and I didn't know anything about his music. I'd heard it before, but I didn't know. I'm not a music guy, really, And
what kind of guy are you?
I think I'm not. I just like to listen to the thoughts in my head just spin around, until I just really go insane.
Got any hobbies?
I don't know this really, I guess.
But before this, what did you have?
I used to like to go to the gym, and
You're a gym rat?
I was for a while.
Yeah.
Used to
read?
do steroids
You like to
back in the
read?
day. We used to do steroids, man.
Did you really?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, dude,
Were you
pull
big?
over. Dude, I was freaking No, I wasn't like that, but I was definitely.
Any long-lasting effect on you?
I think sometimes my back is a little hairier than usual, and I think I maybe had some erectile dysfunction for maybe about a decade. But outside of that, I don't think so. But my brother is 2 years older than me, and he looks a little younger than me, I think. So I think it kind of runs you a little hard.
He didn't take the steroids, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't take them. He didn't.
So I'm sorry, you're talking about Jim Blake?
James Blake, yeah. But yeah, it's just funny, like how to some people, somebody's such a, it's weird. It depends on how you're introduced to a celebrity as well.
Yeah.
If you don't know of them and you meet them, it's almost so much better because then you find out that they're like such a celebrity. Then you're like, oh, you had a different experience with them.
Yeah. The worst is when people don't recognize you.
Yeah.
Like I have a face.
All the time.
People know me. They recognize me, but they're not sure where they know me from. Mm-hmm. And it's like a guessing game.
From Hoosiers. You look like one of the ball players from Hoosiers,
too. You're like a sports announcer, right? Or you play baseball or golfer? Yeah. Or you golf, you shop at Ralph's, right?
Yeah, Dizzy Gillespie, aren't you?
You work at my bank, don't you? Yeah. No, I finally let him go, and then finally say, you know me because I'm your gynecologist.
Yeah. Who's been on your hiking show? What were some of your favorite ones?
Well, they've all been great for me. They're all different. I've had everybody. It's not just comedians. I have like just notable people. Like I had Diana Nyad, who swam from Cuba to Key West.
Oh, nice. We had a girl who's just about to
sail the Atlantic. She's a boat captain.
Oh, nice.
She's going to row the Atlantic.
By herself.
Wow.
Solo.
Wow.
Solo.
Yeah. That's
so okay.
Ambitious.
So you had
I've had Bobby Kennedy Jr. on.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Brad Paisley.
Oh yeah.
Musician.
Oh, I saw you last night with him at the Laugh Factory.
That's right. Yeah. We were at the Laugh Factory.
That's awesome. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he is really funny. Good songwriter. And I've had lots of comedians and actors on. I Caitlyn Jenner. I hiked with Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, that's awesome.
Jack Black, Sandler, Conan O'Brien, Jimmy Kimmel.
And these are all on YouTube. Yeah,
on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Kevin Nealon Comedy or hashtag Hiking with Kevin. Mm-hmm. I started posting them on Instagram. I would just do little short 2-minute things like 3-parters or a minute on Instagram. And then Howard Stern was a fan of it. And he goes, you should make these longer. And I thought, yeah, I should, but Instagram doesn't. So I'll start a YouTube channel. So that's what I did. So I made them for like 17 or 18 minutes now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's from like an hour hike. So I really edited it down. And everybody's been great. Some people don't like to hike incline so much. They don't like Spade. Will do flat.
Oh yeah, Spade downhill only. Spade said.
Yeah, I hiked with Kate Beckinsale a couple weeks ago.
Oh my God, was great, bro! I'd hike back to my apartment.
All right, so I'm saying,
hike around the old bit. We have a question that came in here for you from a listener.
Related to the hiking show.
Okay.
Hey. This question is for Kevin Nealon. I live in Los Angeles and avid hiker, and I'm curious what your favorite hike was. Hope to hear from you. Gang, chill.
Gang, man. And that guy's obviously going to hide on the trail and kill you. But where are you going to be, Kevin?
Favorite hike, favorite trail. Just the trail alone, without the conversation. There's a couple of great hikes. I like the one Solstice Canyon in Malibu, which was beautiful, but it's all scorched now because of the fires.
Oh, really?
So yeah, that's gone.
Were the fires that bad?
Oh man, have you driven through Malibu? It looks like the moon. Once you get past Pepperdine, up in the mountains, as far as you could see, black.
Wow.
And then it jumped over PCH too, so there's homes like in Point Doom that are burned down. There's just chimneys standing. It's really bad, and it goes, you could drive all the way up PCH, almost to Oxnard, and it's all scorched.
Do you think some people deserved it, do you think?
Yes, but they don't live here. But yeah, so that was like my favorite hiking place, Solstice Canyon. But I've had great hikes with everybody's been so great and interesting and different. You really can't. I hate doing that thing where what was the best person.
Yeah.
It's like Rolling Stone will come out and say who the best, like SNL character of all time, and they'll rate it, and I hate those things.
Yeah.
And then, I I don't know. Just I don't like that whole kind of comparing or who's the best comedian, because it's so subjective. You know?
They have Variety comes out with a list every year of like top, or one of these magazines.
Have you polled everybody in the world?
Right,
Is that
that's the thing.
You know?
And half of them are just like industry people they're trying to force feed into that nobody would ever even find funny, that couldn't even stand on a stage.
Yeah. A lot of times people say, who was your favorite host you worked with on SNL? And you have hosts that you worked with that you enjoyed doing because you were fans and stuff, but everybody was great. Everybody's so scared on that show.
I bet.
They become your friends forever. Yeah. They glom onto you like, help me get through this. And then they never forget it. Every time I run into a host that was on, like, and I was on there 20, 30 years ago, they remember me. It's like we're buddies. Hey man, how you been? It's like we've been through a battle together.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've had some good experiences in your life where you've kind of gone from group to group, like with the sports, and then with with SNL, and then even the 8 years with Weeds. Do you like where you kind of got to be in groups, like with the camaraderie and stuff like that? That's pretty lucky, because a lot of people don't get that in their lives as we get older. It's like most of us get it when we're young, if we're on a team, and then after that, you're just in the world. Well,
that's why I encourage my son to get on a team. Because, it's so important to know about teamwork and how much more you get done with a team instead of doing everything yourself. And as stand-ups, we're stand-ups. So that's really, it doesn't get any more individual than that. Or, it's all you. You're writing it, you're performing it, and it's harder. It's hard to like have success when it's just you. And
it's lonelier, I guess, a little bit. Is it lonelier, or is it?
I don't know if it's lonely, but at least you're doing it your way.
Right.
And I could tell you probably the best time I've ever had, the most fun for me, was as a stand-up doing The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Wow. And nothing has ever topped that for me. SNL or Weeds, nothing. It was just a thrill of a lifetime, because it was Johnny Carson. Yeah. It was really the only game back then. If you could do The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
That's what I heard.
Oh, and then, I was behind the curtain, and they introduced me. Johnny introduced me, and the curtains open up, and I'm thinking, I'm doing it, Yeah. And they're applauding. I'm walking out, and I forgot my act. Nuh-uh. I forgot my act. I couldn't remember. I'm standing on the mark. The audience finally dies out, and thank God I remembered my act. And I did it, and I got laughs, and then applaud breaks and laughs. I could hear Johnny laughing over my shoulder, and I'm thinking, I'm in heaven, man. I'm doing it. I'm on The Tonight Show, because I knew my act so well, because I'd done it so many times.
Right.
And then I finish, and he calls me over for the panel. I sit down with him, and that was like icing on the cake.
Bring up a picture of that, man.
And I've never had such a natural high between doing that show and before it aired, because I knew that was. And at the time,
this is it, Mom.
Yeah,
Mom.
And at the time, when you were a comic, like the Improv was mostly where I worked. Mm-hmm. I knew every comic was at the Improv watching it on that TV over the bar.
And you're like, I'm going to be a star in 7 minutes.
I'm telling you, man.
Wow, man.
Yep.
Was it? Oh, I can't even imagine. And it looked like things were so much more pure then, in a way.
Well,
I've heard you say that you kept the.
I have the answering machine tapes from all of my buddies that called and said, "Hey, great job!" People like Brad Garrett, Paul Reiser, agents and stuff. And
Paul Reiser, I was on a flight recently. He has a couple sons, doesn't he? And they were one of his sons turned around. They were sitting in front of me. He was like, "Hey, man, I'm such a big fan." It was cool. I didn't know that Paul was there. Otherwise, I would.
You got a lot of fans out there. In fact, a buddy of mine. His son is a big fan.
Really?
Jake Wolf. They live in Florida.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What's up, Jake? What's Jake like?
Jake is cool.
Is he?
Yeah, he's really cool.
What's his son like? No, I'm sorry. No, that's sweet of you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. That's nice.
I'm not such a fan, but he is evidently a big fan. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's interesting having fans, isn't it?
Well, you can't really, you're grateful for them, but they're so ethereal. It's not you can't expect them to be a fan for a long time, because somebody else will come along. And
oh, wow.
It's like having a girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So, I guess you just be grateful for the time that you have where there's like
that you fooled them.
Interest.
Yeah, you fooled them. Huh? And they're your fan for now.
Oh, wow.
Until they find out the truth.
It's like being fooled and like.
Until they come back and see you again, you're doing the exact same act.
Oh, that's
Do you ever worry about that when you get on stage and you see the same person like from the first show there?
Oh, it's the first thing I ask people is, even last night I was leaving the store and
Comedy store.
Yeah, the Comedy store And no, Vaughn's actually on.
Well, people that aren't out here, they'll think, "Oh, what store was he leaving?"
Right. You're right.
Or you'll say, I got the light, and people think, "What do you mean you got the light?"
Yeah.
Well, was he smoking?
The
And he was
Lord
looking for a light.
Yeah. And I was leaving the Comedy Store, and they had some guy. The first thing they like, "Hey man, we love." And I was like, "Oh, we've been here twice." They said. I was like, "Oh, did you see? I didn't do the same stuff, did I?" That was like, I did. It's always like my concern. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't want people to be unhappy, I guess.
I did a spot at the store, Ralph's. I did the store a couple last year, and there was these two girls that were at the first show, and they had a great time. They were in the front row laughing, and then I came back to do another show in the main room again, and they were and not one smile. They looked so disappointed, and I was trying to make them happy and not the rest of the room. So I was doing a little bit of different material, just to please them and show that I wasn't a fraud. And otherwise I would have killed in that room.
Is your mom alive?
Yeah.
Is she pretty proud? She must be really proud.
Yeah. And my father was too. He just passed away about 8 months ago. He was 92.
Oh, wow. He lived a long life.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, they were both very proud of me. But they weren't I was very lucky. I have the parents that I wish everybody had.
Oh, really?
Everybody would be like evenly keeled in life and not have problems because they were just perfect. They're just everything that you would expect in a parent. And it wasn't like they encouraged me to get into stand-up, but they didn't protest it. And
did they think you were funny?
Yeah. But in hindsight, I heard my father was a little nervous, that I was getting into stand-up with a degree in marketing.
Right.
And but they were always supportive.
Yeah.
And very encouraging, as I was doing it. But I'm sure that they were nervous. But
did you make your parents laugh a lot when you were young? Like, do you remember any of that?
Yeah. We all did.
Laugh? Oh, you did?
Yeah, there's 5 kids in my family.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
there was 3 for a long time, and then 12 years later, there was 2 more,
Oh, wow.
But we would go on road trips, and we lived in Europe for a while. My father worked for a German helicopter company for about 4 years back then.
Damn.
And we would travel all around Europe, and we would take vacations to Greece. I learned how to swim in Greece. I learned how to ski in Austria. It was great.
Like you said, I learned how to ski in pudding after that. Learn how to swim in Greece. What if you actually learn how to swim in actual Greece?
But we would be like in the car a lot. And so we're always doing games and trying to one up everybody, and I would get a lot of laughs. And I could still picture my father laughing and my mother laughing. And
that's fun.
Yeah.
It is funny. What's interesting is it's like even like you're saying, like the good memories are the ones that stay with us, or the good things that happened, or the good parts of the episodes. It's like, even having your parent, remember one of your parents laugh.
Yeah.
Is
my father would laugh like this. I don't know if I can do it. He'd breathe in like, I would hear him like in my bedroom. They're having a party, a couple people over, some cocktails. And he always ended like this. Is that right? He was always that, is that right? Is that right?
That's funny, man. That's cool.
But I do love laughs. When you listen to people in the audience, if you could just single out everybody's laugh, it's such a personal, nobody has the same laugh, Snowflake. And I have a friend actually who has the most distracting, high-pitched laugh.
We know him.
His name was Gianni. He's our intern, and we had to
No, not that guy.
Okay.
This is somebody, he's a loud laugher, and it's really high-pitched, and it sounds like a crazy king.
Oh, wow.
Like if you saw Mozart, that movie a long time ago, the actor that played that, he had that high-pitched laugh. Anyway, he's such a fan, and he'll sit in the front row, and he will laugh like that, and it's totally distracting to the audience. But what do you tell him? Don't laugh?
Hey, yeah, monitor your joy, bucko.
Yeah,
it is funny.
It's just like having an orgasm. It's like an orgasm kind of in a way,
Oh, it's like sound. It's like sound coming out of your face. It's just like
it's totally uncontrolled, no kind of parameters.
Yeah.
Just I'm emitting my emotion of love and joy and surprise. Yeah. That's it right there.
Oh, you caught me. I have joy in me.
Yeah, and the crying's the same way at the other end of the spectrum.
Oh, yeah. Dude, one time a guy laughed so hard at one of my shows, came out of the closet, bro. Unbelievable. He was just like, I'm gay. And he just told his buddies he was gay. And they're like, damn, Brandon. Have another beer, dude. Have another beer and go home with your wife and kids, buddy. Tighten up, man.
Yeah.
Do we have some other calls that came in?
Yeah, we get a couple.
We had a couple fans that sent in some calls, Kevin.
Kevin Nealon. This is Matthew Sisson from Portland, Oregon. I've lost my voice. but I have to know, what was it like filming Grandma's Boy and working with the great Nick Swartzen? Gang, gang.
Nick Swartzen.
Yeah,
Nick Swartzen's coming on next week,
Swartzen.
actually.
Yeah, he's so funny, man. He's so funny. He's
Dude,
so wild.
He's so funny.
He's just he's always thinking about stuff, and
He's too funny.
When I read that script, Grandma's Boy, I was doing a lot of Sandler movies, with Sandler in them, and then this one came to me from Alan Covert and Nick Swartzen, and I read it, I thought, this is where I got to draw the line, man. It's just too juvenile, it's just too sophomoric, I mean, it really was kind of unsettling. I thought, this is kind of embarrassing to be in this film, It's funny, but, I want to try to take a little higher road,
Yeah.
And then Sandler called me and goes, Nealon, I really hope you do this film, because if you don't do it and it's a big hit, I'll feel bad. But if you do it and it's not good, nobody will see it anyway. I said, okay, I'll do it. And it was fun, and so many people love Grandma's Boy. It didn't do well in the theaters, I don't think, but it became like a cult classic on video. And
Yeah. It's like the John Wilkes Booth thing.
yeah, so that was a fun movie, and I loved my character in it too. It turned out really well.
He's so funny, Nick. Even I remember, like, I saw him at the Just for Laughs in Toronto or something, and we were just hanging out during the day, and even watching him, he was talking about how he went trapezing on some film or something.
Yeah.
And he put his arms up in the air, and I just died laughing. He just there's so many natural little things about him that it just are so, like, I don't know what it is.
He's like a funny person. There's a lot of comics that get laughs.
Yeah.
But they're not necessarily funny people.
Yeah.
They're delivering jokes that are well written.
Right.
And, they're pleasant to watch. But some people are just funny. They're funny people.
He's an experience. Bobby Lee is like that, I feel like, too, a lot of times.
Yeah. I mean, he's very physical. You get guys like, Spade is like that. He's funny. He's a funny character kind of guy.
Yeah.
And Swartzen and... I mean, I look at a list and tell you who.
Jerry Clower. Did you ever meet a comedian?
Brian
named Jerry?
Regan's a funny guy.
You ever meet a comedian
No.
named Jerry Clower?
No.
He was like my favorite comedian. Will you pull up a picture of him, Nick?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's from Yazoo
I'm surprised
City.
I don't know him.
From Yazoo City, Mississippi. He's one of the best all-time selling comedians. He toured a lot. That was him.
That's him?
Yeah. He's got...
Oh, is he still alive?
No, he passed away, but he has a...
Isn't that funny? He had a whole career, sold out places, and I don't think I know the guy. And I used to know all of these comedians.
He died in when? It would have been too old for you. He was way too old. He was born in 1926.
He's a Civil War comedian. I see.
But he has some of the best stories in his albums. Some of his albums, if you get the best of Jerry Clower, oh, it's great. He's like Andy Griffith.
He's like a storyteller, right?
Yeah, he's like a storyteller.
Yeah.
And
Those Southern guys are like that.
Yeah, it is. I wonder why that
You
is.
guys
probably.
are all storytellers.
Because we got more time.
Yeah,
so people have more time to tell a story. We're in New York. You got to you better get to the punchline, Jack.
Your next special should be shot in Louisiana, where you're just on a porch by the bayou, just rocking and saying. And then there's one time, my mother said to me, "We'll see."
Oh, rabies, bruh.
Yeah.
Who's got it?
Bro, who's got it?
Hey, don't come in a cup and tell me it's milk. That's what my neighbor used to say all the time. And I don't know who that guy was. That guy was, hey, who knows what happened. Any other ones? Here we go. One more.
Hey guys, long-time listener, first-time caller. This question is for Kevin Nealon. What is your favorite dumb comedy? Gang, gang.
It's a good question, actually.
Your favorite dumb comedy, like film?
Yeah. What is it? What do you watch, Kevin?
Oh, like what film was dumb?
Yeah.
Dumb comedy?
Something dumb, or one that you enjoy.
Well, any Sandler film.
Yeah. And does it make you laugh more because you know him personally? Like
it's not that they're not dumb movies. They're actually really well crafted and they're interesting and funny. But a lot of the characters sometimes are dumb in them,
Yeah.
But I like. I think my favorite comedy film of all time is The Heartbreak Kid with Charles Grodin. You ever see that? Oh, you got to watch that. It's so
write
good.
that down, Nick, so we can watch
And let me know what you think of it after you see it. Don't watch the remake. Watch the original one, Charles Grodin.
The Heartbreak Kid.
Heartbreak Kid, yeah. But dumb comedies, Animal House, I guess, was dumb, and Caddyshack.
Tommy Boy
Happy
was
Gilmore.
really good.
Tommy Boy, yeah.
Dumb and
Sandler
Dumber.
film, Dumb and Dumber, yeah.
That was so good, huh?
That was a dumb movie.
Did you have the opportunity to work with Jim Carrey or no?
I don't think we ever worked together on a film or a TV show. I wasn't hosting SNL when he came on.
Did you guys pass each other in the comedy halls sometimes?
Oh yeah, I would see him at the Comedy Store and the Improv. Yeah, we worked in the same rooms, like stand-up, but not on a show, a movie, or anything.
And he had a level of fame that was probably similar to Farley's in the sense that it was like beyond, like almost bigger than existence, it seemed like, or something.
Yeah, I mean, he was an impressionist. He would do these very obscure impressions, and he had a rubbery face.
Yeah.
But Farley, I always wondered what he would be doing now if he was still alive. Would he? I mean, you can't carry that energy forever. I would see him in the halls at SNL, and he'd be just wired, and I say, Chris, man, what's going on? He goes, I'm just, he'd be sweating and stuff. I say, you got to take it down a notch. I'd say that a lot to him,
Right.
And he'd always anticipate it. And he'd be doing something, he'd see me go, well, take it down a notch? I say, take it down a notch. I go, yeah, you got to take it down a notch, man. He goes, well, we just come from a party and stuff. I said, man, that's just slowing you down, man. He goes, well, Belushi used to, do a lot of drugs and party and stuff. I said, yeah, but just think about how much better you'd be without doing that stuff.
Yeah.
You'd be able to have a clearer head and think, really? Yeah. Really, but,
Do you think he tried to be like Belushi sometimes?
No, yeah, totally wanted to emulate him and be like him.
Wow.
Even to the way he dressed, the shoes, everything. I remember seeing Belushi a few days before he died. I was bartending at the Improv. I used to be a bartender there for 2 years.
Yeah, I remember.
And this was like 1980,
Hearing
81.
about that.
And Belushi came in. I don't know if I was bartending that night or maybe I was just there, but it was empty. It was dead. It was like these rainy nights. Nobody was in there. And Belushi came in around 11 o'clock, looked around, looked in. I said hi. He said hi, and he left. And then a couple of days later, he was dead. Wow. But Farley was, a big fan of his. He said, he died at the same age, 33.
Wow.
SNL, and I guess he wanted to be a legend.
Though. You couldn't connect.
No, you couldn't.
There was no stopping it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But it's interesting. Sometimes people...
Lovable guy, though. He's a very lovable guy.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet guy.
Heard a lot of nice things about him. I mean, a lot of people have come through here who've had stories about him.
Yeah.
And his brother actually texted me the other day, or sent me a DM and said, I saw the picture of my brother in your studio. It's really sweet of
This
you.
is a great painting. Where'd you get it?
There's a comedian named Brady Matthews started doing these, and this is the original. Now there's a lot of replicas around town, but I bought his first one, and this was it.
That's nice, man. I like all the shellac on it.
Yeah. Some people think it's me. Some people think it's... Some guy sat here the whole time and thought it was Trump. And he's like, yeah, I thought it was a little weird. I'm in here. This is Chris Farley.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, I don't know, man. I guess like, and like a lot of like, he probably needed some help at some core levels that he wasn't getting.
Oh,
and then
totally,
he just had, so I think, a lot of our audience relates to that kind of stuff.
He just needed approval and love.
Yeah.
Like a lot of comics, they're just looking for some kind of, approval.
Yeah, some type of acceptance. Do you feel that? Because you seem to be a little bit more even keeled than a lot of the guys.
Maybe at one time I needed that, but now I'm dead inside. You know what I mean? I'm pretty much dead. I have no, don't get nervous. Nothing happens anymore. I think I probably growing up, I felt inferior, intellectually. I didn't feel like I was adequate, intelligent wise. I felt like I wasn't. Even though I wasn't dumb, I was just very average kind of, student. And I just felt maybe like comedy was something I did well. I got laughs. It made people happy. So, I loved doing that. And the three guys that really influenced me the most, right before getting into comedy, I grew up watching Jerry Lewis films and watching all the old-time comics on talk shows and stuff. I would always watch the talk shows and see the comics. But Steve Martin, Albert Brooks, and Andy Kaufman.
Wow.
Those were the guys. And I'm friends with two of them now. And Andy Kaufman I met at the Improv and talked to him. I would see him all the time and watch him perform. And I remember asking him outside once, he was outside by the door, and I knew he was into TM, meditation.
Yeah.
And I said, tell me about TM. What's that all about? I was so nervous. And he talked for like a half hour. And I was just staring at him. I wasn't really hearing. I was just looking at his face, the moles on his face and stuff. And I thought, wow, I had a conversation with Andy Kaufman, That's
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, and it's funny because the lore goes on. It's like those guys you named are all like, those are guys that I would never even have the ability, it's like, it's just... Those are like Mount Rushmore faces almost, Yeah,
and the cool thing too is both Steve and Albert, like I said, I became friends with them, and they're both fans of my work now.
Oh, that's funny.
Which is great. I mean, nothing makes me happier than that. You know? When you have a peer that you really respect and that really made a mark in your life, when they come back around and say, "Oh man, what you just did," or "That was great," or you know, it's really remarkable and fun.
Do you know, I was performing one night and Damon Wayans was in the back of the room, and I grew up watching In Living Color. That's really when I first watched comedy.
Yeah.
And I heard him laugh one time, like, in the back of the room. And it it was like in one moment, my whole world just was complete for a second. It was like,
sure.
Here was somebody that I'd laughed so many times to growing up. We would impersonate him in the street, you know, all like these defunct characters. And it's like,
That was the laugh.
And he had to go on after.
Right?
Yeah, and I just heard him, and it was just like, man, it just made me feel so good, you know?
Yeah.
Or one time I went on stage before Bill Burr. It was at the Levity Live downtown in Los Angeles. And man, I crushed. I really had a good set, you know? Sometimes you're just like, fuck. I didn't think that was gonna happen. And I'm walking off, and we locked eyes, and he was just like, wow, that was a good set, man. And I was just like, that's crazy.
I know, man, I know. I did the Horn once. It was a comedy club in Santa Monica a long time ago. It was one of the last supper clubs. Mm-hmm. And they'd have a singer, and then they have a singer and a comic, you know.
They should have a new one, huh?
Yeah. So I do my act, I do my little set, and this is I'm pretty new at it, you know. It's a couple, maybe 3 or 4 years in. Mm-hmm. And I come off, and I'm going by the bar, and it's dark by the bar. And there's this guy in the shadow, and he's got a Mets baseball cap on, the old-time Mets baseball cap. Mm-hmm. And he turns to me, and I see it's George Carlin. And he goes, "Hey, man, stick with it. It's good."
Wow.
And I remember that.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be Doc Gooden, first of all.
It was James Blake, of all people.
There it was. Wow, that's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
But there are moments.
That's all we need, though. That one little thing to keep you going.
But also from somebody that you respect, or something.
Yeah.
Like when somebody that you really respect, you're like, fuck, they see something in me. Like, is that?
And when it's somebody you don't respect and they like you, you go, "Of course you like me. I'm good."
Yeah. You know? I'm a fucking champ, bro. What do you expect?
What do you expect?
Kevin Nealon, are you touring right now?
I got a lot of tour dates coming up this year, yeah. I'm doing a little Canadian tour in April, too.
Oh, nice.
But I have a website, kevinnealon.com, and all my tour dates are on there.
Okay. And we'll say them at the beginning of the show, too, whenever we do a little intro. Mm-hmm. Thanks so much for coming by.
Thanks for having me, man. This is a nice place to be on a rainy day. It's really cozy. It's kind of like, you know, a room in your house or something. Yeah,
we've been trying to. Nick's made it more cozy over the years, even. And we shoot the other episode facing that way, so that's our Sunday night episode.
Nice.
Faces that wall.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a real blessing, man. It's just like doing the podcasting has been fun.
No, it's good. It's good. That's the cool thing now that, you know, everybody has access to, you know, to some kind of platform to show their comedy.
Yeah.
You can't complain and say, "Hey, man, I don't get any I don't get stage time."
Yeah.
You know, get a YouTube channel going.
Yeah, Donnell Rawlings was here. He said, no more excuses anymore.
That's
He's
right.
like, you really can't have an excuse no matter,
excuses.
You know, of any gender, age, race, all this. He's like, you really can make your own thing.
Yeah.
Now, it does take a beat of like bravery or maybe somebody to tell you, hey, man, stick with it or good job.
Right.
You know? But,
well, thanks for having me, buddy.
Yep, thanks for being here.
All right, pal.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone. Oh, but when I reach that ground, I'll share this peace of mind I found. I can feel it in my bones, but it's gonna take a little time for me to set that parking brake and let myself unwind.